Okay. This is like, I guess, a online help wanted ad. So I'm going to make sure I describe what it is, the help I believe I'm seeking. And if anyone out there knows someone or happens to be someone who can help me with this, please do let me know. So the my notes here says I'm looking for a personal assistant. That's what I put, but that's just my way to describe it. It's someone who can edit videos, like take videos where I'm just sort of sitting there talking and plug in like JPEG files, that kind of thing. Putting like header and footer things on the videos where it says, if you want to see the next video, click here. Or little scripts at the bottom that tell people, I don't know, that tell people to share it or subscribe it. I don't even know about that, but I don't know. That's the kind of thing I'm looking for as far as video editing. And then I suppose the other thing that I would be looking for is called content manager, maybe something like that. It's basically someone who can, as I understand it, it's someone who can take like your content that you create, right? And it's just raw data, like, just you're sitting there talking or whatever, right? And after they do the edits and they review it to make sure, it looks, that it's been edited properly, right? And then after it's uploaded, then they populate it to other venues. So like, for instance, if I take and populate all over again another channel, say hypothetically BitChute, let's just say, there's like a fast way to do that where they sync the channel. But what happens if that other channel that you've synced from gets taken down or erased or shadow banned or taken over? I won't go into details about how they do that, but it is done. It happened to me. So I'm looking for someone who can populate other platforms in such a way that if that platform decides to start censoring and or removing content, then it's not affected across all the other platforms. You see what I mean? It's like spreading the vulnerability out from that perspective. Because the time saved is priceless. Like if you think about the time it's spent to upload all your videos and having them just get taken down, it's not cool. I'm in the process of doing that right now. So if anyone out there has this kind of expertise, this is what I'm looking for. Just want to make sure I included all the details of the proposal. So then, contact me and we can set up private communication, preferably by Zoom or some other, video kind of conference. So you're not just texting or emailing, but you're actually, feeling the vibe of the other person and all the things that need to be communicated telepathically, so that all the little details that we oftentimes forget in the physical, in the spoken word, are covered. And in this way, we have a clear agreement when everybody understands what's expected and what's, the effort that goes into it, and that there's a good and fair value assigned for the person doing the work. But here's a proposal regarding that salary, and it says to possibly, or to negotiate the potential of a discounted salary. So for instance, let's say I had 200 videos and you charged me, I don't know, let's just say $1,000 a video. I don't know. We're just throwing a number out there, okay? Now I'm sure there's a way for me to go and look online and figure out what the real market value is of that, but I'm just using a number that's easy for the purposes of calculation. So let's just say you would normally charge 20,000. I do the math right, I don't know. Let's just say 20,000 to work on 200 videos. So if you could do it like a 50% discount, we could do like 10,000, and you would get the royalties for all of the monetization involved with that, because that's the other thing I suppose that's part of the content manager's job, is to monetize things, so that if there are royalties that I can share with the one who is helping me get my content out there, right? So if that sounds like a fair deal, I don't know. Most people just get paid per video. And depending on how many videos, I suppose you could get, I don't know, you could get a decent salary if someone was posting, 1, 2, 3 videos a week. But, I'm not sure I could keep up that pace. I can try. But anyhow, that's what I'm looking for. Another example of a discounted salary, let's say, for instance, the job was $10,000, but you couldn't you couldn't do that 50% discount because you're kind of like in between jobs and you need some cash flow like more immediately. And you want to accept more than the 50-50. You want like a 60-40 split, or a 70-30 split, even. So pay 7,000, and that if you took 7,000 instead of 10,000, then you would get 30% of the royalties. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so like for instance, hypothetically, let's say some of my video content takes off. I'm just saying hypothetically, right? For me, I'm just sharing it, right? I feel like the things that I'm sharing are coming from the heart, and really this is what gives me joy. But I realize that, at some point, if you're going to start producing a lot of content and trying to run from every channel that's banning you and erasing your content, and with the tides of this ridiculous field of technology shifting and changing on a daily basis and being so politically motivated, I just don't know. It's definitely something that could work out to be a full-time position. So wouldn't it be nice to gain some royalties if it does come to that? Like, let's say everybody knows this video. I'm sure you do. If you don't, you need to check it out and make sure you're sitting down, because if you're not, you're going to fall over laughing. It's got to be like, back when YouTube was still a relevant platform, it was like the most watched video of all time. And it's called The Ultimate Dog Tease, and it's this guy where he's doing voiceovers of his dog. So y'all see the Florcito, right? You see that, the series, and that's just raw. I haven't done any voiceovers or whatever, but if anybody's got those skills, I could definitely facilitate those edits. And like, I could literally communicate in her voice, or what I use for her voice, everything that she's saying to me telepathically, so that the communication sounds like more, back and forth instead of just one-sided. And, kind of like the guy did with his dog. And this video got like so many millions and millions of hits. And it's I don't know. Just saying. If it got like, what do they call it? If it goes viral and there's like hundreds of thousands, maybe, I don't know, millions of dollars rolling in from the royalties. I have no idea how much people get paid on any of the platforms, but let's just say hypothetically there could be $1 million roll in from 5 or 6 different platforms. I don't know. It's possible. Anything's possible. So that's a pretty good chunk of change to retain royalties for that, right? So that's how much I appreciate the help. I don't want to just, pay for your time, but if you're willing to work with me over the long term, then I don't know. Let's do this if you want. So I'm looking for that. And the second thing I'm looking for, oh yes, a ghostwriter. So if you don't know what a ghostwriter is, it's I'm trying to describe. So let's say you're an author and you're trying to write a book, but you're working 4 or 5 full-time jobs, and you just like, you got the story and you've got a lot of like memory joggers and placeholders and footnotes for the story already saved in a document from journal entries that were transcribed over the decades. So you've got like, how the storyline wants to go, and that you just sit with somebody who's well-spoken, has a good vocabulary, can match your style of speaking, or communicating. So complete with the sarcasm and, all the little quirks that you have about your method of communication. And in this way, it's more of an engaging conversation that you're having with the reader. It's kind of like the way we used to write books. I'm being facetious. So yeah, and then this person sort of sits with you and interviews you, whether it's in person or via online conference or something like that. But they listen to your story and they jot down notes as you're talking, and or record. I don't know how that would work, if you want to just record an audio or something and go back and listen to it again, so you can have like a archive back here waiting for you to fill in any blanks that you might have missed, but you can still stay focused on the interview and let things flow with the person who's telling their story. Yeah, that's a ghostwriter. And then they take this and they put it into the written format. And, so I'm trying to keep this video to, I don't know. Okay, we're only at 13 minutes. But basically, the online stuff is not the only thing. It's not the only book burning that's going on. It's not the only form of censorship that's happening. And if you're a publisher, or an author, you know this. But all the freelance agents have been wiped off the search results, and everything goes to this one communist-style monopoly agency called Reedsy. And I'm just saying right now, I'm not saying that they are that thing, I'm not saying for a fact that they are this gatekeeper for the commies, but it is my experience that I had with them trying to find a ghostwriter. And these are like the best of the best, they all got their books published and they're all on the fucking spinner racks, as Michael Tessarian coined the phrase, I believe. I don't know. Or someone I know from the UK calls them spinner racks. the paperbacks that just spin around in the rack, and it's New York Times bestseller, and it's got, it's like the Nobel Peace Prize, right? It's like that's deception. Usually stay away from that. But But anyway, it's good brain candy. So people grab it off the spinner rack and they call them bestsellers, and the authors get paid lots of money. Right. So these are the types of ghostwriters that Reed C claims to host, and you put your requirements out there, and they're to like 15, 20, 25 different ghostwriters, and then they're supposed to write back to you. So all of them were like these. Can't do it. Most of them didn't even say why, right? And there was like this one dude out of 25 people who even seemed interested. And he was going to charge me like $25,000 to write, like, I think just to write the book. Anyway, I can't remember. It was quite a lot of money. But during an interview that I had with him, I came to learn that he's not going to be able to match my style, because my style does involve sarcasm and pointing out, I guess it's like every once in a while, there's always little George Carlin inside of each one of us, and it just comes and spits something out, and it's not politically correct at all. It's not mainstream perspective. It's not group think. It's not crowd consciousness. And it tends to create a lot of dissonance for the one who's, I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to be as politically correct as possible, but like, let's say the belief system is so like hammered into your identity that you're like, it seems impossible to let go of this perspective, this story that you've been told, that you're willing to say that person is no longer my friend because of it, or that person I cannot work with as a result of it. So for an example, there was supposed to be this video editor for me in Venezuela, starving, looking for work, right? And she had a good reputation. She came recommended by another friend of mine. And we communicated back and forth for 6 months, and everything seemed legit until she received the files for upload and edit. And she came across my holidays series, and the first video that jumped out at her was the Christmas, which had like you couldn't even miss it. Like, it had like a thumbnail of Krampus, the Santa Claus, the real Santa Claus character. And another one had a picture of a Santa Claus arm with blood scratching down the wall. And the day she was supposed to start, after like 6 months of negotiation, the day she was supposed to start, she sent me an email saying, "I'm sorry, I can't work with you. I'm a Christian." Well, this guy at Reed C pretty much did the same thing, but it was a different a different flavor of the religare. It was what I like to call Abraham 1.0, or the Judaism, as they call it, the Torah, right? And that, cult of that belief is not to be confused with version 2.0, which is the Jesus Christ character version, and definitely not to be confused with number 3, the one in, the one they give them in the Middle East and throughout Southwest Asia and quite a few other places around the world they call Muslim. This belief system had to do with version 1.0. And I'll just drop a hint here, because I don't want the ADL coming on here and telling me I'm a terrorist with my hate speech. Oh, brother. Oh, brother, what times we live in. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Shakespeare is still relevant. Anyhow, I'll just drop a hint. There's a movie, a documentary on BitChute. As far as I know, it's the only place where it's stored. Hurry up and download it, because every time someone uploads it, they get annihilated. And drugged through court and everything else. And it's called Europa, The Last Battle. So it talks about the real story. And it's not the only thing, it's not the only source, but it's like a 10, 12-hour video. So it's got quite a lot of stuff. And the last 5 or 10 minutes of the video is just page after page of resources and footnotes. So I always appreciate things that are well resourced, so that I can say, whatever claim that you're making in your video or in your presentation or in your book is backed up by, I don't know, empirical material evidence, and or is being cited from somebody else, and that, is where you get this information from, so that you can see it for yourself. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to be an extremely, if you dare watch this video called Europa, The Last Battle, on BitChute. If you dare. I'm going to just leave it at that. So that's your hint as to the nature of the character at Reed C., who, as soon as I, it was like the last little confirmation there. I was like, bro, I'm not your average person. I'm not politically correct. I'm not going to stay inside. I'm not going to color inside the lines. I do oftentimes use sarcasm, and sometimes I'm just outright like brutal, honest truth. And I just don't care if it offends anybody. And he said, oh, really? Like, what do you mean? And I said a word which I will not say here, because I don't want these guys coming after me. They've already come after me. Look at my intro series. It'll tell you. 7 attempts on my life, and several accounts shut down, and IRS audits every year. And now my passport is on a no-fly list. I can't leave the country. Yeah, so, and that's just another postscript here. I'm going to have a little rant here. Maybe I should do a separate rant. Maybe I will. I'm not really feeling any pain of anybody who says they're being censored and targeted and harassed and this and that and the other. Yeah, let me know after your government's tried to kill you 7 times, after you've had 6 or 8 different accounts hacked into, shut down, closed without reason, various entries of identity theft, other things, opening up lines of credit in your name, fucking with your financial life and your, persona and everything. And then when you get on the international no-fly list, you let me know. Then we can talk about how censored and banned you are, and what an awful experience that is. Anyway, it is what it is. Matupsum, right? So that's the kind of help that I'm looking for, and I don't really want to just jump online and start searching. I'd rather ask for the help of the family who watches these videos, the ones who know me personally, and you know how I am. And maybe I can work with somebody who has a likewise open mind and is in a reciprocal manner, is able to appreciate that everyone has their perspective, and to hopefully honor the one whose perspective is based on the perspectives of so many others that have come before them, and because of the material evidence of all the predecessing centuries, hundreds of thousands of years that go before, and because of its adherence to natural law and the 7 Hermetic principles. And you got all the footnotes and everything, right? I have an archive, quite extensive archive. So I recommend everybody start saving that kind of stuff online. So yeah, the book is, for the Ghostwriter, is basically it's my life story, and I don't believe I care to withhold any real names, because I want to give credit where credit's due, in a very matupsum way, without blame, without shame, without guilt, without, but I want to be able to speak my truth, and I want to be able to name names. And so, if you feel like you can work with me in this way, then I believe, it's good to just let me know, and send a comment or something. And please forgive me if I don't see it straight away. I don't know, I don't tune into YouTube every day to check my messages. I don't even know if they notify of messages anymore. Someone called Teresa8256 was created using my identity, which is stolen over the phone every time you call your bank and stuff like that. That's another video I need to do, Hamley, is terms and conditions, postscript to the Simpsons episode. Oh, shit. But, yeah, so just tons and tons of content to do. But I'd rather focus on the content and, not so much the administrative part of it, because it not only goes beyond my technical expertise, but it also invades an already, task saturated schedule. And yeah, I could use the help. So if you or someone can facilitate me in this regard, please do find a way to let me know. And I'm happy to sit with you and talk about, the little details of the contract. And then once we get that all sorted and agreed, then I can make the first installment on the payment, so we can move along and go chapter by chapter. Now, bear in mind, I have not had the average life. I'm sorry. Oh shit, that was the understatement of the millennium, for real. So it's going to be very, very in-depth, action-packed, really drawing the reader into the full experience. And the name of the book is, I don't know if I want to disclose that. I'll just say it. Invictus is invincible, right? In Greek. So it's going to be called A Journey of Invictus. And then each, because it's probably going to be a trilogy, and each, part of the trilogy is going to have a subtitle. Based on, I guess, a timeline or something like that, right? So from birth to the first 20-something years, and then the next, I don't know, 10-ish years, just split it up like that, however we need to. So it's going to be a long-term project, quite a long-term project, and it could develop into, obviously, the most, I don't know, I'm not, immediate results, right? We'll just say immediate results would be the monetization or whatever on the online platforms. But there's also the potential for this to develop into a documentary or an anime series or a TV series of some kind, and it has an uplifting, uplifting tone to inspire the reader or the viewer. So everything's possible, right? So I'll just throw that out there, that I may be also looking for someone in the documentary development business that I could literally, just share my life story with, and they could make it into a movie or a documentary or whatever, or a series or whatever they feel is the most appropriate venue. So think about that, family. If you're a ghostwriter that comes and helps me, and or an online content manager, video editor, and all that kind of stuff that comes and helps me, I am willing to share these royalties, in an honorable way. This is the only way to present myself, is with honor, and not just in a competitive zero-sum fashion of let me see what's in it for me, or what's it all about me, right? I'm going to present myself. I'm also going to consider the other, because in all of my actions, thoughts, words, deeds, agreements, it comes back, right? And so I just do not operate in any other fashion. And it's not that I'm, how do I say? I'm not going to speculate. I'm just going to be honest. What you see is what you get. There's no ulterior motives. I have absolutely no desire whatsoever to violate someone else's free will choice or initiate violence. It goes against my philosophy. It goes against me as who I am, and so I present myself with honor in all things I do, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna say I'm gonna do, or I'm gonna keel over trying, because I don't break my word. I don't go back on my word. I'm not going to be the one that does that. I just know better. And I just wouldn't do it. It wouldn't feel right. If it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. So, yeah, family. That's my pitch for some help with video editing, content management, all the monetization and stuff that goes along with that, proliferation, whatever you call that. And a ghostwriter, and documentary filmmaker, TV series maker, whatever. Yeah, anime. It would be cool in an anime as well. But yeah, we could do that. I'd like to keep the same title format though, Invictus. Or a journey of Invictus, and then whatever part of the trilogy it is. Yeah, be like an online Hobbit or something like that, Anyway, just some thoughts and some dreams. And remember, I have a 369 spiral. And yeah, so these dreams will come true. I know that. And I thank you in advance, family, for participating and facilitating the stream. My objective is not the money. My objective is to facilitate the creation of a space that I would desire for the 7 future generations to follow along the natural path line, the natural timeline, and have clean air, clean soil, clean water, clean food, clean frequencies everywhere, and I suppose if we can make that dream come true, then some anti-gravity vehicles should be coming here Oh, feels real soon. Well, with your help, family. Yes, anti-gravity vehicles do exist, and the flight manuals for such were illustrated in the Vedic texts. And there's so much more evidence. If you don't remember back in the day, if you don't remember defying gravity, that's another playlist I should do. Exposing the, I don't know, fake science of, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, we'll save it for later. So, yeah, like you said, family, it's a lot of stuff I want to cover. It's a lot of things I want to share. And initially this was supposed to be a school. We were supposed to talk about numerology, sacred geometry, all the esoteric stuff. And that's what I want to do. So, whatever we do here online, we're also going to replicate in the 3D. So if you know anyone that's thinks they're interested in being part of such a community, as I define in La Semillas en Tiempo, the mission statement, let's do this. Let's get together and live up to our highest potential and create some super cool stuff. I got first dibs on the anti-gravity vehicle. I'm just saying. Yes, I want one of those. Anything's possible. Vámonos, familia. I look forward to reaching out to whomever gets back in touch with me about this one ad. Have a beautiful day. Ciao for now.